Hey, it's Lynn from Lynn's Corner, where you get your motivational and inspirational tea. As many of you know, or many maybe you don't know, yesterday was the full moon. Now, um, earlier on in when I first started this channel, I talked a lot about the moon because the moon really is my thing. I enjoy the moon. Um, I do rituals around the moon. Um, I charge my crystals in the moon. I love the moonlight. I love to take pictures of the moon. So I just kind of wanted to get back to doing a little bit education about the moon. Some people may know, some people may not. If you are a moon enthusiast like me, some of this stuff you may already know. But if you're not, these are some little tidbits over the next couple of nights that I'm going to be giving you about the moon and the different phases of the moon. I know a lot of times when I come on here and it's a full moon, I talk about the fact that the energy lasts 3 to 5 days before and 3 to 5 days after. So I talk about that. We know that. I talk about it's a good time to release and let things go. But I really don't talk about much else when it comes to the full moon. And so I was thinking yesterday, I said, you know what? Let me do a little informational piece on the moon and the various phases of the moon. So tonight I'm going to just talk briefly about the full moon and what type of energy the full moon really brings. And so the full moon brings a lot of creativity. It brings a lot of energy in and around us. And actually, the moon affects our sleep patterns. So when it's a full moon, we don't get as much sleep and we don't sleep as deeply as we do when there's either a new moon or a dark moon. So if you're having difficulty sleeping during a full moon, I suggest, one, not to sleep in the direct view of the moonlight, as beautiful as it is, because the energy is so powerful. But if you would like to do anything that you do during the full moon in terms of activities should be one of creativity. If you, like I do, I make body butters, sugar scrubs, and those types of things. And so doing that during the full moon is good for me. So anything you create, music, anything, cooking, you might want to batch a couple of meals for the week on the full moon, because that's when the creativity is at its highest. The creativity is at its highest, but the body produces the least amount of melatonin during the full moon phase, believe it or not. So, like I said, sleep is not going to be your friend during the phase of the moon when it's full. When it's bright, it's shining, just as bright as it is, that's how much energy it emits. All that brightness. Hey, time to create, time to stay up all night. So plan things around the moon. I'm going to, later on in this series, I'm going to give you some tips about what to do on various days of the week and different phases of the moon. So that's going to be interesting. But plan activities around the full moon. So like I'll say, right now we're talking about the full moon. Tomorrow I'm going to talk about the new moon or the dark moon. Even though that people use those two interchangeably, there is a slight difference between the new moon and the dark moon. But we'll talk about that tomorrow night. But you may want to take calming baths during the energy of the full moon. You might want to drink your calming tea. I know a lot of people drink those Celestial. I think that's what they call celestial teas. I drink herbs. So I have different herbs that I may drink during the full moon. But yeah, it's a time for creativity. It's a time for high energy. That's why you hear people say all the time, oh, at least I know with me in the field of education, if the children are off the hook, they say, must be a full moon because these kids are off the hook. So it's not necessarily a time where you're actually off the hook for real, but your body is producing less melatonin, and it is a time where your energy is more creative. So think about those things for your next full moon. This moon, yesterday was the full moon, so we still have a couple of more days of full moon energy. I have my Florida water up there that I need to strain and put into jars because it's been 2 months. I made it on November, December. Yep, October, the full moon in October. And so now it's time for me to drain that. It's been 2 solid months, 8 weeks, and I can use that. So even with that, if you want to make your own Florida water, I suggest making that on the night of the full moon, because you're giving a certain amount of energy, the intentions that you're putting around your Florida water, your intentions that you're putting around the projects that you do during the full moon. Keep all of those things in mind. All right, not gonna hold you. Just wanted to give you a little brief lesson about the moon. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, put in the comments below. See you soon.